Hey everyone, Mike Shanklin. Hope you guys are having a great day. To all of my educational parasitical leech friends, let's maybe turn this symbiotic. If you have any advice for me, if you agree or disagree, you want to add in your feedback, please leave a comment in the description section below, and I try to keep up with them. Remember, I have a lot of videos, but I do try to come back here to read your advice and input. But let's jump right into the Fourth Amendment, and we'll get to exigent circumstances here in a second. What is the Fourth Amendment? What is the Fourth Amendment? Well, it is read out as the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue, but upon probable cause, supported by oath and affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. So let's go a little bit deeper. What exactly is the Fourth Amendment saying? Well, the Fourth Amendment was an amendment that was written up in the original Constitution. Obviously, the first 10 amendments are the Bill of Rights, right? And it says that the government basically cannot just do anything that they want to you and your property. You're not just a serf or a slave to their state, supposedly. And it's supposed to be holding back the injustices and the tyranny of the government. This is exactly why it was written into law, government law, I should say, years ago. And the Fourth Amendment really deals with three central questions. The first one is, what government activities constitute search and seizures? The second is, what constitutes probable cause for these actions? And the third is, how violations of the Fourth Amendment rights should be addressed, such as in precedent law and case law. So you can take past litigation cases and use those as precedent. And I want to reiterate the fact that this was written up to stop tyranny inside the government, because if you look at human history going back, the most injustice, the most inhumane treatment has come from centralized violent monopolies in governments. But there are some things that can help you out in some cases, at least historically, and this was the exclusionary rule. Basically, if a search was conducted and a seizure happened, and it was not based around a warrant or probable cause, this information could not be used against you in a court of law. So in other words, if somebody, if an officer, law enforcement officer, searches your car, they didn't smell anything, they just search your car, and they find, I don't know, a bag of marijuana or something like that. They might, if you have a good lawyer and you pay a lot of money, you might not have those that bag of weed being upheld in a court of law. It might be thrown out under the exclusionary rule. But the court has defined a series of exceptions. Obviously, if you consent to the search, probable cause goes out the window, right? Motor vehicle searches are another exception. Now, this is because they deem the car is on their property, and because of that, they can do what they want to. Once again, another issue with the state violently monopolizing road systems. Obviously, if the evidence is in plain view, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Border searches, which to me is a waste of money, doesn't help anyway, and we're going to try and stop criminal activity inside of a violent monopoly that is based around criminality. It's just it's insanity. And then we get to exigent circumstances, right? Well, what exactly are exigent circumstances? This is going to open up hopefully a new worldview to you. An exigent circumstance allows law enforcement to enter into a structure without a search warrant and without knocking and waiting for refusal under certain circumstances. Now, historically, it must be a situation where people were in imminent danger or where the evidence faces imminent destruction. So if somebody had stolen, I don't know, a CD, and they were going to throw the CD in the microwave and cook it real quick, or dump their marijuana down the toilet or something like that. Historically, law enforcement had the discretion to go in and say it was because of exigent circumstances. Now, there really is no litmus test. There is no litmus test for determining which of these circumstances actually qualifies as an exigent circumstance, okay? So basically, exigent circumstances may make a warrantless search constitutional if probable cause exists. But this raises the question, right? What is probable cause? Well, it appears only the government officials are able to determine what exigent really means, if there is probable cause. So basically, the police officer could say, well, I smelled marijuana coming out of his car. He doesn't have to tell the truth. Obviously, police officers are encouraged and paid to lie to you, right? Part of their job is to lie to you. Which is funny because if you lie to the government, you go to a cage. The government lies to you. What happens? Bradley Manning, right? So not only is the definition of the term elusive, but the number of cases in which exigent circumstances is utilized or used is unfortunately on the rise. It's on the increase. Which brings us down to reality time. Let's be a little frank for a second here, right? Because law enforcement has full discretion on what they view as exigent, there really is no such thing as probable cause anymore. It's gone. It's out the window. Everything can be an excuse through exigent circumstances. The way he looked at me was weird. In fact, what was it, July 17th, when this peaceful lady was just washing her dishes, and what happened? A person raises up out of her window. She sees her out the window in her peripheral vision. A guy pointing a gun at her face, at her heart, and her brain. A gun pointed at her, and she gasps and ducks underneath the sink. Police ruled that as exigent circumstances. I mean, it can be anything, right? So any person in a government costume can do whatever they want nowadays and just rule that it was exigent circumstances. That's just the way it works. So the reality of the situation is the Fourth Amendment is just an illusion, right? It's just the illusion that you're free inside of your head when really you're nothing more than a serf or a slave, just like in any other communist or socialist country. So the erosion of exigent circumstances, of probable cause and warrants, this was actually predetermined years ago. We should have known that this was coming down the road, right? It's not like something like, how did this just happen? Where's my country going? Well, you allowed a violent monopoly to hang around through the American Revolution. This is what happens. This is what happens. It's going to erode away your rights. It's going to steal your freedoms from you. It's inevitable. So the reality of the situation is you're nothing more than a serf to the government. You're nothing more than, you're not an individual actor or an agent in this system anymore. You're just a part of the collective like an ant or a bee. And so it's really important for us to help people realize that obviously exigent circumstances are really just the erosion of individual freedom. And in essence, that probable cause and warrants, they've gone by the wayside. You don't need them anymore. Just look how many no-knock raids are going on today on people who, a lot of them peaceful. In fact, they bust into wrong houses and kill dogs needlessly. It's just an insane system. And this is why polycentric law or private law would be a much, much more beneficial system, because nobody would have the right to just kick into your property. At least they'd have to, if they're going to get some kind of a warrant or something or another, it would take much more caution and care than in any state system where they just feel that they can do whatever they want to at whim. So I hope this helps you understand that just like the state, which is an illusion built up in people's head of authority and hierarchy through violent monopolies, that the Fourth Amendment, another illusion within this illusion, is nothing more than a fallacy of people's mentalities wanting, it's a state of cognitive dissonance where they want to be free, yet they enable a system that guarantees that they will not be free. Thank you so much for your time. I hope this helps. And if you ever need any help, please message me. Don't forget to subscribe and also check out these other great videos. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.
You always focused on ending the American governments. You know, I feel like you just want to bring down our government. What if all these other governments attack us and all this other, I guess there's... And I'm proud to say I am not a 0.0000001%er. I think I got that right. What am I?
We have a buy one get one free deal and 40% off and free shipping. So if you have wanted to donate to our channel before, you just haven't done it, this actually gets you something. So head on over to nonaggression-apparel.com.